All right, let's dive right into one of the most common and honestly one of the most critical security flaws out there. It's a problem that's hiding in plain sight in so many systems, just waiting for an attacker to waltz right in.
And this right here just nails it. It perfectly captures the problem. Think about it. You install this amazing, top-of-the-line camera system, but then you tell the security guard to go home. So you have a perfect recording of the crime, sure, but you only find out about it days later, long after the thief is gone. That's the core idea we're going to unpack today.
And this just makes it crystal clear. Let's imagine a bank robbery. On the left, with bad monitoring, the cameras record everything, but nobody finds out until customers start calling, wondering where their money went. Days later, the evidence is there, yeah, but it's way too late. Now, on the right, with good monitoring, you've got someone watching the feed. They spot the threat, they hit the alarm, and the police are there in minutes. The robber is caught red-handed. See the difference? One is a history report of a disaster, the other is stopping the disaster from happening.
So let's give this thing its official name: security logging and monitoring failures. This is what happens when our digital systems, well, they just fail to write down what's happening. Or even worse, they're writing everything down, but absolutely nobody is paying attention. This creates the perfect playground for attackers to just move around completely invisible.
So how does this actually happen? I mean, it's rarely just one single little mistake. It's usually a whole bunch of issues that pile up and together create this massive blind spot. Let's break down the 6 main ways that systems end up going blind. Okay, first, maybe you're just not logging enough stuff to begin with. Or the logs you do have are missing key details, like who did what and when they did it. The biggest failure, number 3, is the one we've been talking about: no monitoring or alerting at all. That's our unwatched camera. Then you've got things like insecure storage, where an attacker can just sneak in and delete the evidence of their crime. And finally, not keeping logs long enough or having them scattered all over the place makes it totally impossible to piece together what actually happened.
And here's the really crucial part. Any one of these failures is bad on its own. But when you start combining them, you create a paradise for an intruder. They can hang out in your system for weeks, months, even years, and no one would ever know they were there. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's talk about one of the most infamous examples ever, the massive 2013 Target data breach. And what's really shocking about this one is that it wasn't some super sophisticated, impossible-to-stop attack. Nope, it was a classic and totally preventable failure of monitoring. And here it is, the simple, devastating truth. Target's multi-million-dollar security system, it actually worked. It totally detected the intrusion, it generated the alerts, the technology did its job. The failure was a human one. It was a failure of process. Literally, nobody was watching.
Just look at how this played out. Day 1, the attackers get in, and the system sends an alert. It's ignored. A couple of days later, they move deeper, right into the payment systems, and generate even more alerts. Still ignored. It took weeks before they installed the malware to start stealing data, and then weeks more before the breach was finally discovered. And not even by Target. It was discovered by outside investigators.
And the consequences? They were just staggering. First up, 40 million credit and debit card numbers were stolen. That's a huge number, directly hitting millions of everyday shoppers.
But you know what? It gets worse. On top of the credit cards, an additional 70 million personal records, we're talking names, addresses, phone numbers, were also stolen. The scale of this thing was just immense.
And the financial hit? The class action settlement alone cost the company $18.5 million. And that's not even counting the cost to fix everything, the regulatory fines, and the incredible damage to their brand, all because those alerts went completely unwatched.
Okay, so that was the cautionary tale. How do we fix this? How do we go from just passively recording disasters to actively defending against them? Well, it really comes down to a few key principles for building a truly vigilant defense.
Everything starts right here. You have to record the right things. And I'm not just talking about logging errors. You need to log every single important security event. Who logged in? Who failed to log in? Who looked at sensitive files? Who tried to get into somewhere they weren't supposed to? Basically, every log entry needs to answer the simple questions: who, what, where, and when.
But look, just collecting a mountain of data is only step 1. This is how you turn that data into real action. You can't have a human being watch every single line in a log file. It's completely impossible. So instead, you teach the system what to look for. If someone tries and fails to log in 5 times in 5 minutes, bam, send an alert. If a system administrator makes a big change at 3 in the morning, you better believe we need an alert for that. This is how you turn all that noise into a clear signal.
And finally, you have to protect your evidence. Your logs need to be encrypted and locked down tight, so an attacker can't just come in and delete their footprints. And by pulling all your logs from all your different systems into one central place, you can finally see the whole picture. You can connect the dots of an attack while it's actually happening.
Okay, we've gone through a lot. So, if you remember nothing else from this whole explainer, please remember these 3 things.
First up, your defense is only as good as the information you collect. It's simple. If you don't log it, you can't see it, and you definitely can't act on it. Start with the basics. Who's trying to get in, and what are your most powerful users up to? Second, and honestly, this is the main lesson of this entire explainer. Just recording stuff is not enough. An unwatched camera or an unmonitored log file just gives you a false sense of security. Active monitoring is what separates a solid defense from becoming the next big headline. And number 3, automation is your absolute best friend. Humans get tired, we get distracted, we get overwhelmed. But a well-configured automated alert? That's your tireless digital security guard, watching every corner of your system 24/7 without ever needing a coffee break.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. I'm almost certain your systems are recording logs right now, collecting mountains and mountains of data. But the real question, the one that truly defines your security, is this: is anyone actually watching?